You're someone with a vision for your practice, for your side hustle, and for your personal journey. But when it comes to establishing your path on how to get to where you want to be with your practice, things get a little messy. You're also someone who'd prefer to go in person instead of to groups and listening to everyone else's story. To me, it sounds like you could benefit from one-on-one consulting with our experienced practice of the practice consultants. From $5.95 a month and up, you can work with a consultant that will give you more direction and practical, tried and tested tips matched to you and your goals. For more information, visit practiceofthepractice.com/apply. Again, that's practiceofthepractice.com/apply. This is the Practice of the Practice podcast with Joe Sanok, session number 1252. I'm Joe Sanok, your host, and welcome to the Practice of the Practice podcast. I am so excited to have you with me today. We, at the time of this recording, and this was months ago by the time we're releasing this, just wrapped up the group practice conference, and it was amazing. We had about 90 folks come in and a bunch of sponsors and short form 20-minute talks. We already went and walked through next year's space, which is even bigger, can seat up to just under 400 people. But 200 looks full. So, then you can have every other seat and not feel super squished in there. But it's actually where TEDx is hosted locally. And then all of our breakout sessions are going to be in a museum with art around, just a fun, cool space. Really excited as we start to plan out next year's conference in May 2026. There's something about meeting people in person. I don't know about you, but I can talk to people on the phone or on podcasts, and I feel like I'm connected to them. But at this conference, we flew in our team from South Africa and our team from Pennsylvania, and all four of them, we came together. And oh my word, it was just incredible to meet in person, to give them a hug, to have worked with them for 10 years and never got to meet them in person, and to just have downtime to hang out together. There's something about when you're on a screen, it kind of feels like work, unless it's someone that you maybe have been friends with in person for years, like an old college roommate. It does kind of feel like work, and it's hard to sometimes have those deep emotional connections when you're staring at a screen. We'd like to think that that's the case, and we try really hard with teletherapy and things like that. But when you've met someone in person, there's just a different shift, and that's why we're continuing to host in-person events. And also, I am connecting with friends of mine that I've met in person. I'm so excited today that I have Beliza with me. Beliza Perez is a therapist who has been doing that for 16 years as a child therapist, 11 years full fee private practice owner, and creator of the Famgabs cards, which I'm so excited about, the Famgabs kids cards, because she has a passion to give kids and families pivotal tools for connection to fall in love with their family. She's here changing her corner of the world with her therapy gifts. Beliza, oh, I didn't even say in there, we've met in person. We're at Killing It Camp. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Joe. I'm very excited.
Oh, yeah, I am so excited to have you here. It's just so fun to talk to people that I've met in person, that, we've actually hung out at Killing It Camp.
Yes, I've known you since 2018. It's amazing.
I know. It's been a minute. So we're fastly approaching 10 years of friend anniversary.
Woo-hoo.
Well, let's talk about your practice. So
Yes.
tell me about your practice working with kids. I know you've gone through different ways of thinking about it. Just tell us about your practice.
Yes. So my practice has definitely been an evolution. It has really been about being able to utilize the therapy room in different ways beyond just what insurance may or may not cover. So really just helping families to learn about their habits, learn about what tools or skills they are or are not using that are helpful versus not helpful. A lot of times people will come to therapy and, client is angry or we can't communicate. And quite often it's deeper than that. And really helping them just to find one or two basic skills to start to really help them to relax, calm down, and then be able to be curious about their child, be curious about their relationship and even themselves as a parent and as a human.
So awesome. Now, tell me, so you made these cards and we'll get into those, but
Hmm.
when you just think about conversations with kids compared to conversations with adults, how do you see that as being different in the therapy room?
So conversations with kids, they require a different approach. So they also need to know that you get them. You're here to, you're there to hear them. You're there to spend time with them. You're there to be with them in their space. So that sounds very hokey, but it's where I'm not judging you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm letting you speak. I'm letting you share your thoughts and feelings through play. And then that way you learn your language, you learn what you like, what you don't like, what's really happening in your brain and body, and a space to be able to do that. But you have to be fun, you have to be curious, you have to be at their level. And I think that that's hard for adults. We forget what it was like to be a kid. We forget what it was like to be 22 sometimes.
Hmm.
So it's really, really hard to be able to approach our child from their perspective because, again, as an adult, we have so much going on, so much we're taking care of, so much we have to do for that little person that it's hard.
Yeah, that idea of being fun in therapy, I mean, that to me is something that um, I think comes very natural to some people and is
Hmm.
tough for other people. I know
Totally.
for me, I had ingrained in me like that professionalism, don't
Hmm.
self-disclose,
Oh yeah.
that even though when I worked in a runaway shelter, the kids that were there, I had so much fun. We'd take them roller skating, we'd get pizza. It wasn't therapy, but then when I became a therapist, I felt like I was like, I think I was 25 when I first had my master's, and I'm teaching these parents about parenting, and I'm not even a parent, and they're mandated to be there. So I actually turned to my background in experiential education of like high ropes courses and things like that. And
Hmm.
I just was like, we're going to do team builders in therapy, like, fun games where we get them off the couch and, that they laugh and then we can kind
Yes.
of say what happened. And I still remember this one family. The activity you have, and you could have Chat GPT do this. You cut up probably 50 to 100 different values. And so things like honesty or timeliness or strength. And you just have like 50 to 100 of these. You cut them up on little sheets of paper and print it out. And you tell the family, all right, I want each of you to pick what you think are the top five that every family needs. A successful family
Mm.
needs these five. So then they narrow all of those down to 15. And this was with like a teenage son who like was like doing such dumb things. The parents had like taken the door off of the hinges because they were worried what he was doing in there. And
Oh
like
yeah.
the parents had no parental authority. It was just like, it was kind of wild.
Free
And I
for all.
remember then, so the next phase of it, you say, okay, now we have 15. Now you need to come to a consensus as to the top five from those 15. And we defined a consensus as nobody disagrees. So thumbs up, I agree. Thumbs sideways, I don't care. Thumbs down, we all have veto power. So they like fought through this and
Mm.
were really advocating for their things. So it was great to see those dynamics in a safe environment. And then we got down to the final three. And then what's the final one? And then they had a value that they could point to and say, we all align on this value or these three
Hmm.
values. And I think that when you do activities, when you do things like that with kids, they just are excited about therapy because they see the progress in the family too, that it's not just them being told that they're bad or something like
Yep.
that, but it's actually like the parents have to work on some things too, especially when they lose their cool in some silly experiential activity.
Yep. 100%. Because
Mm,
they're a unit. It isn't
yeah.
just one. You have to function outside of the therapy room, and you have to make it work, and you have to fall in love with yourselves and with your family every day.
Now, when you like are doing these kind of conversations, discussions, when did it click to you, hey, I might want to make a card deck from a therapist perspective for families to discuss?
It was literally just a period of time over 6 months. I had parents just, hey, Beliza, can I chat with you for 2 minutes? Like as the kids walking out, like they're looking at me with this, the watery eyes, with the desperation, with the sunken, off shoulders of like, my child won't talk to me. What's wrong with me that my kid won't talk to me? They talk to you, they're loving therapy, but and they made my eyes water just watching just their lack of like confidence and just feeling like I can't do this. And I, over that period, voice memoing them, sending them pictures, sending them, hey, here are the questions to ask, texting them. These are open ended questions. So I realized at that time when I saw their faces, I said, wow, they really just need support and help. And then once they started asking the questions, they were like, oh my gosh, well, like you opened up Pandora's box. And I'm like, well, I didn't do that. You did that. I just gave you the tools. And I
Mm.
realized when they came back and they were, happy and confident, like their shoulders are up, they're like, Beliza, like we're connected. And I'm thinking, that's it. That's the moment right there that they're connected. They feel confident. And the ball went rolling and it was gone. And they were just like doing so well. So for me, that was the moment.
Yeah. Now, where did it go from there? Because I think it's one thing to have an idea. It's
Hmm.
another thing to say, okay, I'm just going to print a couple of these locally for my clients. But
Hmm.
it's something completely different to say, I'm going to start working with Chinese manufacturers, selling this thing on Amazon, and I'm going to go big and be a sponsor at conferences and get the word out on a national level. So, how did you? I guess let's just start with the confidence side. Or maybe it was a lack of confidence. Maybe you weren't confident, but talk us through the emotions of deciding how big you wanted to go.
To be honest, I had gone through a period where I had let go or we agreed to not my last therapist. It just wasn't working. So I had started a group practice, was really focused on that. And my last therapist and I agreed this isn't working. So we parted ways. And it was literally about a week later, meditating, praying, just kind of sitting through like, what are we doing? Like, this isn't working like we thought it was going to work. And this was an idea that probably 6 months prior to that was percolating in my brain. But I was so focused on the group practice that I said, that's an idea for later. Right now, we need to get this growing, this group practice. But once that was off the plate, I think I gave myself permission to say, let's do something completely different. And it was just incredibly scary and incredibly different to say, let's launch a product. Let's try something that is completely out of our wheelhouse, but that we have an idea. We have something that families have already said they've enjoyed it in my practice, that maybe this can reach other families. And so there was confidence, but there was a lot of fear and a lot of like, is this really going to happen? Like, we're really going to try this. And so it just started from there. Yeah.
Mm. Now, when were you most freaked out about this?
Just one time. I've been freaked out several times along the way, several times. But probably the first time I freaked out was when, gosh, the first time would have to be when I actually paid for 1,000 units. I
Mm,
paid cash for 1,000 units to get sent to Amazon, 750 and 250 decks sent to me. And I said, we have literally paid for something that hasn't been sold yet.
like there's no turning back.
There's no turning back. And we are going to sell the F out of these cards to the best of our ability. And I said that through tears and fear and confidence and literally the mix of everything all together.
Oh
It
my
was,
gosh.
yeah.
So that moment, you have it shipped to Amazon, shipped to yourself. Walk us through when you first looked at that package.
So, oh my gosh. When I got them to my house, and it was a work day, so I had limited amount of time. I thought this could be a game changer. This could be a game changer not only for me and for trying new things and for stepping out of our comfort zone and box, but this could be a game changer for families all
Mm,
over who need connection, who need something different, and who need a tool and they have no clue. No clue. And these cards could give them more than what they have in their family right now.
mm. Oh man. So
Yeah.
take us through some of the questions in the cards and like why it's resonating with families.
So I would say that some favorite cards have been the ones that they are not thinking about. So a lot of, or the cards that they're like, wait a minute, I don't know how to answer that. And I say, answer it however you want. Like, what does your brain and body tell you? Like, and so they get a little, almost like on edge because it's like, wait a minute, like it's not clear. I'm like, well, that's okay. Life isn't clear sometimes. So just, what do you think? What comes to your brain? What comes to your heart when you think of this question? So it's been those questions, but the bonus parent questions, I've had a lot of parents who once they realize that there's something for them, they've told me like, Beliza, these are good. Like they're simple and they're easy, but it never occurred to me to like tell my kid that they're smart, to tell my kid that, wow, look at you, you kicked that ball really hard. And 2 days ago, you were struggling with that move.
Hmm.
I love when you put your cup away. I love when you get in the car and I don't have to scream at you to get in the car 12 times.
Yeah.
Like the little things that they just don't think about. And a prompt reminds them, like, hey, compliment your child. Hey, give them eye contact. Hey, put the device down. Don't demand your child put the device down if you're not going to put your device down.
Mm-hmm.
So though that's been cool, is they're like, I didn't realize there were cards for me. I'm like, well, there are cards for you because you're important.
Mm. I know we leave the cards right on our table in our living room just so that if we have time between things, rather than jumping on our phone, we can just pull out a question or two. Like if I'm making dinner or if the girls want to just connect with each other differently. It's just, I think there's also that, like when you see something tangible, you remember it. Like it's one thing to have a PDF of these kind of questions. Like you
Yes.
could have that, but there is something tangible. And even like the meditation mazes that are on the back of it.
Yes.
I think that you just do it more. It's similar to kind of what we talked about of meeting people in person versus not. Like there's just a
Yes.
different energy when it's tactile. Like I personally don't like reading ebooks. I'd much rather read a regular book, carry it
Mm-hmm.
around with me on vacation. I'll take 2 or 3 books that I think I'll read on vacation, maybe read one of them. But I would much rather have. I just like that paper. Maybe that's the Gen Xer in me.
Maybe.
Um, but to me, I think we also do it more, and we're on screens so much that
Yeah.
to have something that you're making eye contact, you're not going back and forth to a screen. It's just so helpful for families.
Absolutely. And I think the mazes, again, people don't realize what's in the back. And I've had to tell so many people the mazes are for if you're bored. What if your kid's on
Mhm.
your nerves? What if you're on your kid's nerves? Like this can be used for everybody. If you need focus, if you need calm, if you need relaxation, the mazes serve so many different purposes. Plus, they're pretty. Like I even have one that I've used as a bookmark. And I had a couple of
Mhm.
peer therapists like, oh, please, I love the cards. I was like, grab one and take it to go. Take it to go for yourself. If you're going to go be in the office, grab five, two, the whole deck. You can use them in so many different ways.
Mm. Listen, I didn't take insurance in my counseling practice because I had no idea how to handle it. The process of accepting insurance outside of a group practice can be tough, but most people looking for mental health care want to use their benefits to pay for sessions. If you're like me and you feel a little scared about taking insurance or you just want to make it easier on yourself and you're interested in seeing clients through insurance, Alma can help. They make it easy to get credentialed with major insurance plans at enhanced reimbursement rates. They also handle all the paperwork from eligibility checks to claim submission and guaranteed payment within 2 weeks. Plus, when you join Alma, you'll get access to time-saving tools for intake, scheduling, treatment plans, progress notes, and more in their included platform. It's going to make it so much easier for your team, so you can spend less time on administrative work and more time offering great care to your clients. Visit helloalma.com/Joe. That's helloalma.com/Joe to get started. Now, I want to hear just like a real quick, almost like master class on, and I know that this could be probably multiple episodes, but like if you were to just say the steps to go from idea to selling on like an Amazon, and again, this was a multi-month process from idea
Mm,
to completion. So there's no way
yes.
we're going to cover it all. But just so people like for me, it was really helpful when I was working on getting a traditionally published book with HarperCollins to talk with someone who had done that. And they just said, first you need to have a proposal. Usually you have an agent at that point, and then they shop the proposal around. And like they just walked me through the process, and I was like, oh, okay. If you were to just give us the quick bullet points, like a quick masterclass on how do you find a place to print things in Asia or wherever? How do you get
Hmm.
them to Amazon? How do you sell on Amazon? What are some of those steps?
Got it. So, step one is love yourself through this process.
Oh, I
Get your
love it.
get your
Step one, love
confidence.
yourself.
Love yourself. Get your confidence. Understand that this is going to be a big wave. a lot of ways, and that you are going to just do your best. Do your best, breathe, do the things that help you be fantastic, because you're going to need all of those tools and skills to do the thing. Step one. Step two, start saving. I don't care if it's $20 a week. Start saving so that you're not focused on money. You're not worried off the rip from the beginning. Oh, I don't have the money. Get in the right mindset and start saving. Number three, speak to the right people. I spoke to I don't know how many people before I got to you for consulting. And I said, okay. And then I was able to get, again, the framework of, did you try this? Did you do this? Here's Alibaba.com. So really talking to anybody, not anybody, but people who are in this arena,
Yeah.
who have done something similar to this, if not that they've done it. Finding product people is still a challenge, but I definitely feel like I have more tools to understanding where to go. And I say those would be the top three. And then the fourth, I would say, do this. I have been doing a lot of documenting. So I do a lot of video logs now, like the good, bad, the ugly of the process.
Yeah.
That has helped me to not only be proud of myself, but also understand my mistakes and pitfalls. But it's been very therapeutic for me to be able to do a video log and say, oh my God, this was terrible today. Oh my God, this was awesome today. Oh my God, look, we've got 125th sale. What? And just helping me process this big new thing.
Love it. I mean, I think that it's just like the idea of how all that works together is, I think if someone's going to go through it on their own, my sense is that there's sort of I kind of viewed the process in working with you as I'm the general contractor that helps you kind of keep the whole project together and the vision and who are we doing it, who are we focusing on, the marketing, but then to have specialists kind of in each area in the same way that you have an electrician come in and then you have someone
Yes.
else, to have an attorney talk with you to talk about trademarks, to
Yeah.
talk with different people that have done drop shipping and to be able to work with those experts to then say, yeah, you're working with different companies in China or across the ocean. There's a lot that goes into that. There's a lot of
So much.
expenses. There's a lot of you want to feel the quality of it. You want to know how much
Yep.
you get something that's kind of already pre-made that you just put your kind of logo on versus
Yep.
you're kind of building it from scratch. So many
Exactly.
decisions to make.
Yes. And I would also add, Joe, that I think is really important. I forgot it. Oh, I'll get it back. Yeah, I'll get it back. But yeah, being able to give yourself the time, and
Hmm.
if you're on a deadline, just be very aware of your deadline.
Yeah.
But if you're not on a deadline, just making sure that it's oh, I remember that. Fall in love with your product. Fall in love with your product and know exactly what you want, because along the way I had a lot of people say, oh, do this or do that, or let's do this. And I'm like, no, this is what I want. This is my kit
Hmm.
card deck. I don't need it changed or altered. Thank you for the idea or suggestion, but this is my product. A lot of people will tell you and give you ideas and say, oh no, do this, oh no, do that. And love your project enough to know what you want and to be able
Hmm.
to say no thank you, or you know what, that's actually a really good idea.
Well, and I think that differentiates you then. We just, at the time of this recording last week, so we record way in advance. So at the time of this recording, we just did the group practice conference last week. And some of the vision for it was very disruptive for the industry. And so we had
Mm.
shorter 20-minute sessions that people were on stage. We held them to it almost like run a gong. We had a flashlight
Oof.
at the back when they had 2 minutes left, get off the stage.
Mm.
And some people are like, oh, I wish that person would have talked longer. But it's for every person that you wish had talked longer, there's probably also people that had talks that you wish they wouldn't talk longer. So that was
Mm-hmm.
something. And then also we didn't have an expo hall, which all of the sponsors were just like, what are we paying for then? And then they came and they experienced it. And from stage, I'm like, listen, if you want good billing, Jeremy at Practice Solutions does amazing billing. Even if you just have a billing problem, go talk to him. Or over the people over at Describe are app experts around AI. Go talk to them if you're interested in talking AI at all. And so it was interesting how having that kind of soft handoff with our sponsors that we genuinely vet, we genuinely get to know, we want to support them and think that they are experts. It's just a much different posture than standing in an expo hall with your squeeze ball and candy trying to get people's attention. And so I really realized that my own natural humor, the kind of things that I do that are ridiculous, like people actually said, this was one of the most fun conferences I've ever been to. I met so
Yes.
many people. We did things similar to Killing a Camp to help people connect with each other immediately. And it's like when you just double down on yourself and you say, listen, Beliza is a smart woman who has a creativity that other people don't have the same point of view on. You're going to create products that are completely Beliza. Even if there's 500 other card decks out there, this is going to be
Hmm.
a unique one. And so I think I love that advice that you're giving of just like doubling down on yourself, believing in yourself and your product so that you can just make it the most unique thing that is your vision come to life.
Absolutely. You just have to know what that is. You just have to have the confidence and the courage and the strength to say, you know what, this is my thing. This is my product. And you know what? It could change down the line. You can say, you know what? Those 2 people or 5 people were absolutely right. What was I thinking?
Hmm.
But you have to know that along the way. Otherwise, your product starts with A and you end up with FXG and you're like, what the heck was that? I
Hmm.
spent all this money and where did my baby go?
Yeah. And I think some people will encourage folks, like you to do like beta testing, to like
Hmm.
pre-sell the cards ahead of time. And
Yes.
then when they have a certain number of orders, they order it and it's 8 weeks till shipping. How did you make the decision to say, you know what, I'm going to just buy 1,000 cards, 750 to Amazon, 250 to me? How did you make that decision instead of trying to do a bunch of pre-sales?
So probably, gosh, at least 6 to 8 months before I did my final order, I was doing samples. I spent a
Mm.
lot of money just on samples because I wanted this card to look and feel a certain way. And I was using that in sessions. I was using that with friends' kids. I was using that with my
Mm.
nephew. Every sample card deck that I got, I was like, who can I use this with? Who can give me feedback? Who can tell me what they like or do not like about this sample? And I did
Yeah.
that over a period of about 6 to 7-ish months. And every new sample that was better, I said, okay, what about this one? What do you think about this one? What do you think about this? And really having anybody and everybody that I knew that was a parent, family, kid, what do you think? Yeah,
Mm. So you were beta testing it just in kind of a different way to get the
in a
feedback,
different
to make
way.
sure before you dropped a whole bunch of money on 1,000
Yes,
card decks that people
yes,
resonated with it, they loved it,
yes,
that you're paying more for those individual decks to be printed, but then as you
yes,
show it to people, were there changes that from people's feedback you're like, "Oh, that's a great idea." That's
yes.
like what kind of
there
thing?
there were a few questions that I just ended up getting rid of. So
Mm.
one thing I've noticed is I still have, I think, a handful of fill in the blanks, but some of the fill in the blanks people didn't care for them. Like they were like, I don't understand what you want from me. I was like, okay, this is no
Mm.
longer fun. Now this has just gotten like, they're almost like disinterested in the cards. So those didn't make it. And then originally the maze, I didn't have a back of the card. I had literally stuck a sticker onto an old uh, playing card I found and said, I want something like this. And that turned into the finger maze with my first, um, uh, the first person who did my first sample.
Mm. So awesome.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone that is thinking about developing any therapy product, like what advice do you have for them?
I would say definitely sample what's out there. Um, so I bought at the time the 4 most popular decks of cards, whether it was bestseller, whether it was best price. I bought them, played with them myself, compared them to my cards, looked at the reviews, and really decided, okay, what makes my cards different? How will I price point my cards based off of this? So definitely do the research. So if there's a ball, look at all the balls out there. What is making the top selling, play ball so good? And
Mm.
really know your why. So I think I have this idea. Why? Why am I doing this? What's my purpose in doing this? Because your why is the thing that will carry you through this, through the pits and the peaks and through all of it.
Yeah, I think that's so important to do that Simon Sinek start with why, because the product and the modality will change. So, like, you decide to do cards, but you're not doing this just to make cards. You're doing it
No.
to help families have discussions and, as you said, kind of fall in love with each other more,
Yep.
and to have those intimate moments. And you see that as something important for families. And so,
Yep.
whether it's cards or an app or a children's book or whatever idea it is, that's going to be the driver, and then the cards are just a manifestation of that. In the same way
Yep.
that the podcast, it's to help people have thriving private practices they absolutely love, which I would even go farther behind that. I want people to love their life. I want them to
Yep.
say, holy cow, I get to be Beliza. Holy cow, I get to be Joe. What
Yes.
an interesting life I get to live.
Yeah.
Somehow the energy of the universe has come into this body and I get to enjoy it.
Hmm.
That's my ultimate why. It's not just to, teach people to make money. And so I love
Hmm.
that that's where you go with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this could fail, Joe. At any pivot, at any point, I can say, you know what? We came, we saw, we failed. But at
Mhm.
least we came, we saw, and we tried. I would rather have tried it and gone for it and gone 1,000% than to be sitting at a desk saying, oh, I wish I would have done that.
Mm.
Remember that random idea we had that we poo-pooed? No, we're going to do this and we're going to see how it goes. And we're going to learn about ourselves and we're going to help others. And we're going to do all these beautiful things along the way and get to love ourselves in a whole new way. Like we're trying to get others to love themselves and their families with these cards. What an
Mm.
opportunity.
It's interesting you say that you'd rather fail and try than to not know. That was the mantra that I said to myself as I was leaving my quote secure full-time job at the community
Mm-hmm.
college, that I would much rather try to go full-time into private practice and consulting and fail and then boomerang back into the work world than to sit there and wonder like what could have been. I
Yep.
think that's such an important guiding way to think about these risks that we take on,
Oh, yeah.
and they may fail and they may not have great rewards, but at least we know that we tried it. Um,
100%. And
Belize, the last
yeah,
question I always ask is if every private practitioner in the world were listening right now, what would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that it's okay to try to do something new. It's okay to fail. It's okay to try 12 things and they didn't exactly work, but you get to do that. You get to learn about yourself along the way and there's opportunity in all of this, the good, bad, and the ugly. And I hope that they take the leap into the thing that they've been thinking about, into that idea, into that XYZ. Go for it. Go for it. Love yourself through the process because something beautiful is at the end of it. You just don't know what it is yet.
Mm, so amazing, so inspiring. Belize, if people want to get your cards, where can they get them?
Okay, so they can get them on famgabs.com. That's the main website, and it will link them to Amazon or to the PDF version.
Mm, so amazing. Thanks for what you're doing in the world, and thanks for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
It's interesting. I forgot the guy's name who he wrote the book. I'll have to look it up. It's like this book all about. I can picture the cover. It's like a circle with a circle within it, and he was talking about. I'll have to put it in the show notes. But what he was talking about was how many times have you had an idea, and then you don't take action on your idea, and then someone else does it. And he was talking about, from his point of view, the animating force of the idea, if it doesn't find a host, it just moves on to someone else that is ready to do it, which I thought was a really unique way of thinking about creativity and just how you just think about the world and how you think about ideas. I'm actually going to live look this up so that people have the name of the book. So book on creativity. Let's just see what this is. Oh, there it is. The Creative Act, A Way of Being. Yes, I bet it was the first one. Rick Rubin. I was going to say Rich Roll, but I remember he's a vegan podcaster. So yeah, Rick Rubin's book, The Creative Act, A Way of Being. We'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. But just that idea that, ideas, they're looking for hosts. And Beliza she was a host for this idea. And now she's launched it into the world, and we don't always have control of those ideas when they go out into the world or how they're implemented. Just like when I wrote Thursday is the New Friday, once it's out there, it's out there. So I want to encourage you, as you feel these ideas come through you, evaluate if they feel like they're a good fit. Reach out to me for consulting, or reach out to one of our team members. There's lots of ways that we can help you kind of get to that next level. Thank you so much to Alma for being our sponsor today. I wish Alma had been around when I had my private practice. I had no idea what I was doing. That's why I didn't take insurance. But if Alma had been there, I would have. And there's no reason that as a clinician, you should be spending hours on paperwork to bill for insurance. or not knowing for sure that you'll get reimbursed for sessions with your clients. If you're interested in seeing clients through insurance but don't want to navigate the process and paperwork on your own, Alma can help. They make it easy to get credentialed with major insurance plans at enhanced reimbursement rates and a guaranteed payment within 2 weeks. Visit helloalma.com/Joe. That's hello, ALMA.com/Joe to get started. Thank you so much for letting me into your ears and into your brain. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Special thanks to the band Silence is Sexy for that intro music, and this podcast is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information in regard to the subject matter covered. It is given with the understanding that neither the host, the producers, the publishers, or guests are rendering legal, accounting, clinical, or other professional information. If you want a professional, you should find one.